Well, welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It is a very gloriously late Sunday morning over here, maybe the latest video that I've done in the last month or so. I feel very ashamed by it, but for good reason. Anyways, plenty to talk about today as Bitcoin did hit the short-term, medium-term downside targets down into anywhere just below 10,150 is what we were looking at yesterday, and all of those wicks did get bought up by end of closures. However, now as we approach the time when CMEs open up once again at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight, what is there to prepare for? And what do the ranges look like, and what are the implications? Are we going to see continuation? Is the whole house of cards going to tumble on over? And is Sushi an actual fucking scam? Hey, hold on, we need to talk about something right now. You're telling me that this DeFi product named Sushi fucking coins is a scam. It's an exit scam. Color me fucking surprised. How crazy could that be? It's like it's like 2017 all over again. Crazy shit going around the lands right now, and there's a whole drama going on with Mr. Binance himself, Mr. Shitcoin Sherpa. And fair enough, man. Fair enough. Apparently now the job of Binance is to just provide liquidity for other exchanges, not to actually do due diligence, which is the whole fucking point of having a centralized exchange to begin with. Just saying. Anyways, perhaps I'll stay out of that and let the crypto degens handle that one. Let's take a look here at the Krown chain application, which I should first and foremost say all the programs are on sale for 20% off for the next 3 days. And I just want to make sure that anyone who's actually interested in these sorts of things has access to that discount. No code is necessary, but I do want to remind you, please watch the videos that accompany all of these videos right here before doing anything else. Uh-oh, looks like Elsa or someone is maybe waking up. Oh, it's Kati. Hello. Anyways, maybe a little bit too loud right now. Anyways, so all of these videos explain these programs much more in detail, but the main thing with them is that I want to say right here, without getting too deep into it, as always, make sure you have enough time. They're very, very long. These two, especially 30 to 40 hours for the TA program and the options program, and a rather steep learning curve, especially for the options program. So you need to make sure that you have enough time to actually make the most out of it. Otherwise, well, it's just not going to be worth it. It wouldn't be a good idea to get into it to begin with. And then obviously, you're going to want to refer to that over time as well. So understand that this is a long process. While I pour my heart and soul into these programs. They are not magic pills. Going to require a shit ton of effort on your own behalf. In fact, a metric shit ton of effort on your own behalf. Trading is not easy. Yes, it can be done. And I always want to be the person saying, hey, if you actually put your mind to it, yes, you can fucking do it. But it's not fucking easy, man. And well, that's gonna also typically imply, from what I've seen, both with myself and also over the last couple of years now, with the people who get into these two programs in particular, usually takes about a year to a year about a year to a year and a half for the average person who's actually going to succeed. Some people, yes, do get there faster. I've seen 3 to 6 months, which is just it's very, very impressive when it happens, but it's definitely not common. And some people never get there at all. So there is a legitimate chance of failure even when having these programs as well. Again, it's going to require a shit ton of effort on your own behalf. That means like taking the actual notes. That means, practicing on a somewhat regular basis, hopefully, and inputting the hours and referencing the concepts. Okay, cool. That's enough shilling myself. Oh, I should say that the Neophytes program is more so for beginners. Also a lot less of a financial commitment. And all the programs do have, well, I guess just these two programs, actually, not all of them, do have payment plans up to 10 months as well for those of you who would like financial assistance or whatever it might be. It's kind of a weird times in Corona land right now. Also, our man, Mr. Mournfall, the creator of the Jewel and this actual app itself, has his own PineScript Mastery program, which he will teach you how to code indicators in the TradingView native instruments. And then on our partners tab over here, we got Jackie. He's a very handsome young fellow, and he has a psychological program, and he's the guy who I stand by for that. Both these guys I can stand behind. In fact, well, anyone that I talk about on this channel in that way, I always stand behind. And for example, Bali as well, well, I should talk about his indicators too. He has his indicators available as well. Link is in the description below, and well, you've seen them a million times by now. You know what I think about them, and they are brilliant. Anyways, let's go see what the open interest is looking like. Pretty much standard from yesterday to today, 1950, I guess that's more like 1,950,000,000. While price action essentially ranges on the medium term timeframes. Bitcoin dominance did take a big step up though, 0.5% from 58. Over the last few days, we've seen this make a massive leap up, and I actually really want to focus on this today as well, since we don't have traditional marks to talk about. The Bitcoin dominance is suggesting that we are going to see many alts do a full retrace. And we'll look at the charts just a bit here. We were referencing, or I was kind of looking at this in the program Discord last night, and and looking across the lands at, the altcoins, especially the ones that were around, for the last few years. There are some interesting things there. Anyways, fear and greed index unchanged. And other than that, let's go into the actual price action charts themselves. Hey, get off my fucking face, Mr. Peterall. Let's go over here and start off with the same chart that we were referencing, Bitcoin on the daily on GDAX. And as you can see right here, we still technically have not actually broken the range. This is what I mean by over the weekends. I typically do look at any sort of a move outside of the medium-term time frame range, and especially the long-term time frame range, which is not really applicable right here, but still does work. Typically does, find itself still settled within that range. And as you can see right here, all wicks below that 10,150-ish region were bought up. Yes, we did even get a 4-hour closure below it, but again, on a weekend, I do think that it's not really appropriate to be using a short-term time frame like this. It's probably better to be using a 12-hour or daily to denote a breakage, but still, the range is working nonetheless. Breaking 10,150 on this time frame, actually, which was showing better on a 2-hour, just getting an ever so slight close right here, did initiate that next move down to our next blue box right around 9,800-ish region. So if you did want to play the low-term time frames, did it work? Yes, but this is essentially what I mean. This is essentially what I was referencing yesterday, that, while I do think that Bitcoin does eventually break to the downside here, and I think that we're setting up for that, relatively soon, overall, do I think it's going to happen on a Saturday? Very unlikely. You do see some big moves on, over the weekend sometimes. Yes, absolutely. But if you do see them, they're going to be with the overall trend. And in this case, that would be to the downside. So this actually would fit that criteria. We have seen those before. We've not seen reversals from the weekly trend on the weekends when CMEs are not trading. That is what I typically do say, and still holding true right there. So as it stands right now, there's actually not too much to add on to what I haven't already said yesterday, but we'll take a bit of a look at altcoins today. And as long as we are closing 4-hour deltas below here, does it look like it's gonna keel back on over and tag 9,700 or 9,800 once again? Yes, it does. However, I would be still a little bit hesitant until CMEs open back up for trading later today. I know a lot of people are talking about CMEs having that good old gap at 9,700-ish region. Yes, that is true. Could you make the argument that it's already been filled right here on Friday, September the 3rd? Yes, you could, definitely. And more importantly, oh, by the way, I'm recording this for the first time in 4K, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out. So well, hopefully it actually works. So we'll see, man. Maybe this video just gets wrecked. But more importantly, looking at this right here, could you make the argument that this has already been filled? Yes, indeed you could. However, for the people who are looking at the move last night to 9,800-ish region as filling the gap, that is just that's irrelevant right now, because, well, CME's aren't even fucking trading. It's like, how are you gonna fill a gap when the asset literally isn't even trading? I mean, that's how it's it doesn't work like that. So I do think that Bitcoin very likely does take another leg to the downside overall. Most major cryptos in the same vein. 200 exponential moving average would be essentially exactly where the gap would also be on CMEs, right around 9,700-ish region, and also underline the bottom side of this next blue box territory, of which we tested into the top side yesterday at 9,800-ish region. Now, I do think, and we were speaking about this yesterday night in the program Discord, with a couple of guys, and a lot of people were kind of noticing this one, and I'm starting to see it as well. I do think that 9,100-ish region is actually a legitimate possibility. That's also going to be the 200 simple moving average right here, and the reason why I do think that is because mostly because everyone's looking at the fucking gap right now. Not everyone, obviously. There's no way to know what everyone's doing in a world market. It's just a very arrogant thing to say, but a lot of people are going to be looking at something like that. And typically when you have something that a lot of people are going to be looking at, one of two things happens. It either gets front ran in the case of, in the case of what we see right here. You could say that this was a front run, yeah, about by $100, low of 9,900, and I'd say official gap fill at about 97, so maybe even $200 could work, yes. Or, and in this case, what I do think is a little more likely is we get overshot, and in that case, you'd probably dip down into the next major liquid zone, which in this case would be right around that 9,100-ish region right here, which actually drawn right now. Just kind of, or whoops, wrong one, not a rotated rectangle, I just want a regular one, but basically just our last major base before that big old breakout that we saw in middle to late July. So all of these things still do matter, and I still have the same implications for the medium-term time frame range to the upside. I do not get even short-term or medium-term bullish until Bitcoin gets back above, on a 4-hour closing basis, or 2-hour would do it as well, 10,600. If that were to happen, I would look for extension for another $300 to $400, all the way back up here towards around 10.9. Bitcoin, that's where the long term once again gets implicated. So I am long term looking for this to come down to those lower targets, at the very least somewhere around like 9,700ish region. Prefer, I'd feel a little bit better about 9,100ish region overall. However, if Bitcoin were to retake this area right here, even on a 4 hour, probably does it as well. I'd actually feel rather confident on a 4 hour here. Preferably, higher term timeframes are going to be better. As always, 12-hour daily. Do you want to wait for something like that? I don't think it'd be like the worst thing right here, to be quite honest with you. But more importantly, if Bitcoin could get back above this region, I would switch my long-term bias, my daily bias, essentially, back from bearish to bullish, and look for moves quickly back up to about 11.3. And Bitcoin probably just works its way back up and plays between that same 11.3 and 12,000 area that we saw all throughout August. So overall, right now, those ranges are still more or less the same, and it's a low term time frame ranges that are actually kind of more interesting right here. So let's look at our oscillators right now. I'm going to imagine that we probably have some 4-hour divergences being built up, and we do. Bullish divergence is being set in on the 4-hour right here between this point and this point. Yes, it's kind of keeling on over again, but as long as it does not close below 99.50, it does have that same sort of potentially even 3 drives of divergence in play right here. Maybe it even comes down a little bit lower to set in an official third drive around 9,700 region. Definitely possible. But overall, it's in play right now in a way that we did not see yesterday, more importantly. In fact, yesterday we were seeing hidden bearish divergences, which was giving that bias towards a short-term move to the downside. Anyways, right now, it is starting to look a little bit more and more like we are going to get into some bounciest territories. Does it come alongside another sweep of the lows first? Most likely yes, in my opinion. But I don't think that we're going to break to new lows like right here, right now. I think, I think we probably graze the lows and then probably try to attempt to bounce. Historical volatility percentile on the 4-hour is starting to cool off, which tells us that, hey, it's more or less time to be looking for a little bit of sideways consolidation. And in this case right here, I think that we already have kind of tested the low side of the medium-term time frame range. So overall, the market doesn't happen in one day, right? Anyways, looking at 4-hour Stokes, are we pointing back up? We are trying to. Well, not we, but Bitcoin's trying to get its little PP back above there too, and it will actually cross back up to the upside with any sort of a 4-hour closure in the next 2 hours, 37 minutes, and 39 seconds above $10,017.10. Let's see if the other lower term timeframes agree with that. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's usually a very bad thing when they don't. And in this case right here, the 3-hour is looking like it wants to keel back on over again, closing in 37 minutes and 25 seconds. So by the time that I post this, you will actually already have this information in play, and any sort of a closure below 10,170 essentially is going to turn this baby back down, reject getting out of the bearish control zone, and that's going to very likely be your catalyst for another sweep of the lows, maybe even a little bit lower, maybe even all the way down to 97. But still, on a closing basis, I would be, I would be very cognizant of that divergence starting to be built up here. So, how high could we get back up on a divergence move? Probably back around like 10.4, maybe even 10.5. Once again, wherever the 21 exponential moving averages is where I kind of put a ceiling on that move. Is going to be your usual target from something like that. Anyways, buy hourly, suggesting about the same thing. Actually, already trying to cross up right now. Has the same sort of 2 drives of bullish divergence put in. I wouldn't put it past to put in one more drive, which again would come with another another similar low or slightly lower low. We do have a 2-hour buy signal being built up right here. I don't really trust this one all that much, especially on a low time frame on a fucking weekend. But hey, it is in there, and momentum will turn back up to the upside with any sort of a closure in 36 minutes, essentially above 99.64 spot 80. Hourly is going to more or less agree. Same sort of things indicated here as well. Actually, did already kind of play out a three drives of bullish divergence, and actually turn it on back down right now as long as we close below 10,150-ish region. So it is starting to look like if this next hourly does close below 10,150, I do think that we are going to get another swipe of very likely somewhere where we put in the low side of yesterday's bottom. That would be about 9,800, and I do think that it could potentially get all the way to 97, but I don't think that will actually break lower than that officially on a closure, at least until CMEs open back up for trading. I do think that, probably from around that region, we do start to play out some divergence pity bounces, somewhere back up to like 10.3, 10.4 region, and then we'll go on from there. And, I do think that Bitcoin will very likely test lower once CMEs open back up for the weekly trading. Anyways, speaking of the weekly, let's see how we're shaping up right now, which is still a bounce on the 21. So while I've been talking about a lot of bearish things on the low term timeframes here, Or actually, I didn't even talk about how to govern my next targets, I guess. Well, fuck, I really dislike using those words. As long as we're below 10,150 on these hourly and bi-hourly closes, yeah, I do think that we're going to test back around here. Technically speaking, I would be looking for the next medium-term low to be put in right here as well. 97 and 90-100ish region probably does put in a bounce, maybe even test all the way back up to 10.5 from there. But if this area does get broken below 9,700, even on a 4-hour closure, especially on a 12-hour or daily, I would extend targets all the way back down here towards $9,000 base to 9,100ish region. Our man Craig in the program Discord, who's obsessed with volume profile, which is a fine tool, did point out, very, very rightfully so, by the way, that we have the penis Christian right here, right around 9,300, a nice thick AF node, and that would be a good basing platform if Bitcoin really did want to take a nice tumble here. And someone had a really good question yesterday in the comment section. Krown, what is the worst case scenario on this dump? And well, it depends what you're implying here. The worst case scenario is always zero. And sorry, but it is, especially on an asset like this. Hey, shout out to Sushi, motherfuckers. Really, no one saw that. I mean, sorry, I don't mean to be insensitive, but no one fucking saw that one coming. Like, Jesus Christ, I'm sure pretty much everyone saw that coming. God damn, man. How silly can we be as human beings is the real question, and it is ultra silly, extra silly. Jesus, man. Anyways, Sushi getting all sorts of craziness, man. Getting all sorts of crazy. And well, it is what it is, I suppose. Jesus, man, what is going on right here? Well, that is all good anyways. Okay, cool. So yes, looking at this on the weekly, I think what that person really meant though was, what's the worst case scenario for Bitcoin putting in a new major low, if it were to turn down but still remain in the macro uptrend. And for reference, right now, the macro uptrend has our last higher low right around about 6,500. That would imply that any closure on a monthly above 6,500 is still playing out the monthly trend to the upside. And you can see that the 21 exponential average right here is actually right around 8,500-ish region. So overall, what would be the worst case to continue on with a long-term uptrend? Well, about low 7,000 essentially. You probably don't want to break too low below there because you don't want two lows too close to each other. It's very, very unlikely things that actually you really don't see long-term double bottoms actually almost ever in assets. It does happen every once in a while, but very, 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 very unlikely. You just don't get two chances to buy the lows, at least not that close together. Like I'm talking like maybe 5-10 years out. Could happen, yes, but in the same year, very, 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 very unlikely. Anyways, so looking at something like this, yes, could come down to those regions. But even below 7,000, we do have to realize at 7,500, our monthly momentum would still be to the upside as any sort of a closure above 7,500, which would print in another higher low. Essentially, well, just continues this upwards and onwards into the bullish control zone. I mean, this would still look good from a monthly perspective. So this is why I really like to differentiate my views on the short-term timeframes, the medium timeframes, and the high and the macro timeframes. I can be macro bullish because the monthly trend is to the upside here, and the bi-monthly too, and even the weekly for right now as well. But the daily trend is down right now, and all lower term time frames trends are down as well. Maybe all the way down to like the 1 minute right now too. So my point with that is that we're playing with big numbers here. So if I am bullish on the macro, does that mean that I just blindly buy at 10,000 because 10,000 is psychological support? Well, no, because you have potentially significant amount of risk. I mean, pretty much all the way down to like $2,500 in price action. So that's a career any move right there. I mean, unless you like legitimately plan for something like that. And then that's also not to say that it can't actually break. Could. I mean, there's no reason why it wouldn't have to. It's just, trends are more likely to continue. Yes. So over time, probability is going to be with you, but always have to have an exit plan because probabilities do not imply a direct. Well, it's not that it doesn't imply a direct relationship. It doesn't. I mean, there's never until you have a probability of 100%. You gotta have a plan for what happens when that doesn't go through. Anyways. Okay, so yes, perspective right here as well on the bi-monthly as well, and look at where the 10 simple is, by the way, right around 9,100ish region. We'd be very obviously even continuing the uptrend right here. That'd just be considered a backfill if we came back down and test around 9,100. So I'd actually be looking at that as an opportunity, and while this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not trying to talk about my positions here or anything like that. I think you can figure out what
what may be implicated by that region right there if things were to get down there. Again, I just like it for a trade. Doesn't mean it's going to 100% work out, but overall, same sorts of things here to be aware for the long-term perspective. Bi-monthly Stochs still nice and erect. Bi-monthly RSI is flirting around with the bullish control zone, although right now taking a massive nosedive there. So fair enough. Not really a point in the Blue Law's court as it is right now. Anyways, back on a daily, and let's talk more bear stuff, because that's a lot more exciting. And well, I don't know, man. There's something about it that's just more fun. Just more fun, I guess. Anyways, looking at daily Jewel, yes, we did get a decent sell signal right here. Continuation sell signal on the 1st and 2nd of September. That's actually my birthday. And more importantly, this just continuing to play on out. So I want to give massive credit to a lot of the people who took that signal a little bit more aggressively as well. I did not, and I didn't really turn bearish on this price action until we actually broke down below 11,750. But again, I never will catch the ultimate top. So fair enough. And looking at this right here, are we building any divergences on the daily? No, we're not. We're just straight up not. So I do think that it'd be very unlikely to get a bottom on this current downside run until we at the very least get 3 drives of divergence on a 4-hour, but preferably on a 12-hour or daily. That's very likely where we're going to actually find it. Now, is the 12-hour building divergences here? Yes. I mean, we got very, 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 very low on Thursday or Friday it was. So naturally speaking, it's going to be a little bit difficult to turn that even further down. Could it happen? Yes, but we're getting closer and closer to a bouncy bounce area. I don't think that is here just yet. Same thing on daily as well. Are we building divergences? Well, actually no. I mean, you just don't really see divergence this shallow in the pool right there. I'd usually look for it in more so around the critical zone is where they typically do play out. But even divergence on a 12-hour could very likely have reversal implications for the for the daily trend right here. Anyways, historic volatility percentile heating back up after a long slump to the downside, playing out with our projections earlier this week that we were going to see a break of the long-term time frame range this week. Unfortunately for the Blue Laws, wasn't to the upside, more so to the downside, as you can see. Okay, so what else do I want to say while we're here? Very, 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 very short term. If Bitcoin does pop back above 10,150 and close an hourly above there, I would look for the bounce to happen back up towards 10.5 sooner rather than later, instead of playing out the next move to the downside. But until that happens, the trend even on an hourly right here is your friend, and still consistently setting in lower highs and lower lows the whole way around. Don't need to be a fucking don't need to be a professional trader or anything like that to analyze this. Well, the trend is down, and the trend can be your friend. So overall, I do think that it's more likely that Bitcoin swipes to the downside here. But if we do get another hourly close above like 10,150, do we play out a bounce first, back up to those levels? Maybe yes, but this is very low time frame stuff right now. I don't want to be beholden to something like that, and I don't feel all that confident on something like that. And I want to be very deliberately clear when I don't feel confident on something like that, because I think that's important to be transparent. Because I don't always feel like I have a strong read on price action right now in the lower term time frames. If I had to call it, do I think it goes down first? Yes. Could it go back to the upside first? Maybe if it closes this next hourly above 10,150, that would be the situation where I might start to look for something like that to transpire another like $300, $400 move to the upside. But until that happens, no, just let the trend be your friend, man. It's been your friend so lovingly for the last, for the last few days, and being very rewarding to anyone, especially getting on the train a little bit earlier than later. Okay, cool. What else we want to look at? Let's go look at Mr. Buterol. How's she, he, it, zer, him, burr, whatever the fuck. Sorry, I don't mean to be insensitive here. It's just I can't keep up with the 50 plus or so pronouns that we have nowadays. Although one day I'm going to start up a video and I'm going to say, good morning, zer, zim, zins, him, zims, hers, theirs, dicks, x, z's. Good to see you. Good to see you. My man. No, shit, fucked it all up. Need to do it over again. Anyways, daily on Buterol, got that same sort of sell signal right here. Very, very great sell signal on the 17th of August. Did not get the ultimate high though. For the people in the Jewel, did get this high right here. By the way, the Jewel is on sale as well. which I forgot to mention. Jesus Christ, man, terrible marketing. I need to hire someone to market for me. Don't even want to, but doesn't matter. Anyways, looking at daily Stochs, still headed down. Looking at daily RSI, no divergences to be found here at all whatsoever. And Jewel just gave you a halt your sell signal a few days ago on the 3rd, and I believe that we're still playing that out. Mr. Buterol, if Bitcoin does come down to 9100ish region, I would look for him to come down to about 275 region. And if things get even crazier, I'd be looking for 250ish region. But for right now, going to try to put in a little bit of a bounce, probably simultaneously with Bitcoin around the Cyan 89 expansion average right here. Short term at around 325. Where do I think this thing could bounce back up to? Anywhere around 338 is within range, essentially. This guy right here is kind of the order block that we're playing off of right now. This guy right here. So anything within there is kind of fair game. Above there, I would actually look for another move back up to test around 360. Let's actually adjust this so that it's more proper. There goes 360 to 370ish region. And back above 360, I do get bullish on this one, similar to Bitcoin getting back above 11,000. By the same token, below where we are right now on a 4-hour closure, that would be 324. I would be looking for another move down rather quickly to test yesterday's low at about $300. Maybe another short-term bounce there, but overall continuation down to 290 before the next medium-term time frame bounce, and then implied targets lower towards 275. Very, 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 very likely. I do not think you'd bottom out at 290. Very likely another step lower after a short-term bounce. Anyways, we don't have anything to update on Forex, nothing to update on traditional land, and I guess it's all the time for Bitcoin nonsense right now. So let's do it. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance, and we have a reversal, my friends. We spoke about this a few weeks ago, that this is the area to be looking for a reversal in, and I think that you're going to see a lot of alts do full retraces versus Bitcoin right now. Perhaps that's one of those quotes that I absolutely regret saying later on. I typically stray away from saying more aggressive things like this. This is looking like a major low. I do think that many alts are going to go for full retraces versus Bitcoin. Exhibit A, my friends. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's looking a little bit something like Cardano. Oh, and what's this? Another lower high and a series of lower highs? Is that also hidden bearish divergence on a weekly? Is he about to get... Wait, sir? God damn it. Oh, you motherfucker, you. Oh, you motherfucker, you. You motherfucker, Cardano, you goddamn car dealers. I want to show you exactly what the power is of... God damn it, why are you not working? Soundboard? Don't fuck me now. I see what's going on here. It's a mutiny on my computer. Yes, so, overall, I think that we got Cardano pretty damn well. We did say about, a month ago right here, below 1,200, we were going to look for a full-on move back down below 1,000 Satoshis. We're seeing that right now. I do think that this one goes even further over the next few weeks, back down to 690-ish region, and probably does bounce there. But overall, I don't see any reason why this trend would not continue, and then we get to see our friend once again. Oh, God! Oh, God! Oh, it could be just another downtrend for the next fucking 3 years. What about, hold on. Let's go check a look at Litecoin. Litecoin never even got all that much up. Oh, what's this? Lower high. Oh, God. Oh, God. Yes, exactly right, my man Lexington Steele. What about Ethereum Bitcoin? What is this? Is this another lower high with hidden bearish divergence on the weekly as well? Oh, God. Oh, God. Thank you. And what else do we have to look at? What other fucking crypto nonsense could we look at right here? Oh, my favorite. Ripple me goddamn fucking nipples. How about this? A 3-year long downtrend. A literal fucking pumping up. It's XRP Army. Oh, God. Oh, God. Are you ready? Are you ready for the full retrace? 1,100 Satoshis. That looks like your long-term bottom, 1,300 Satoshis. Now, I'm not saying that's going there today. Maybe over the next year or so. This is pathetic. While everything else was rallying, making new all-time highs, this thing can't even put in a new weekly high versus Bitcoin. Now, here's the thing. Just because I do think that most alts are going to be going down and for full retraces versus Bitcoin over the next half year to a year, Does that mean that Bitcoin, or does that mean that they're going to go down versus the US dollar? No, we actually don't know that. The only thing that we can say with regards to that is that if, we'll just have to see. We have no way of knowing until that actually does happen. So yes, what else? I mean, what else can we look at? I'm just curious what else is on the board here. We can look at some US dollar pairings as well. I mean, they don't look as bad, obviously. What the
Oh God! 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 Oh God!
Actually, not that bad. This one did make a new high. Monero, you get, I don't know, I don't have fucking gold stars or some shit like that. But you know what? This deserves a little bit of praise. At least it didn't put in a lower high on the fucking macro once again. Stellar, can we say the same thing about you?
Oh God! Oh God!
Motherfucker. What about Litecoin? Litecoin's good, right? Charlie Lee, and I like him. You've seen him on CNBC. And whoa, do we have 3 years of straight lower highs?
Oh God! Oh God! Oh!
Okay, how do I look at this SUSHICOIN bullshit? No, let's go look at this urine thing. Equally as fucking stupid. What do we have here? Well, this is an hourly, and this is all that we got. I can't analyze something like this. Don't know what to say, man. Don't know what to say. What about Link though? Link's the darling of this market. Link would never let me down. Link, show me the way. Guide my girthy green dildos or red dildos or as seen on Reddit Link Marines. Guys, Link's down 48% in 1 week. Is there any news? Any news? News!
Oh God! Oh God!
Let's look at the trolling rebounds. Mr. B-roll, get the fuck off my charts, for the love of God. Already 31 minutes into this. Okay, so some very interesting things on Mr. B-roll here. We did close officially below the bottom side trolling band, and today we're gonna have a chance to both open and close below it. This would say that we are actually in the process of maintaining the downtrend on the daily. Target's gonna be extended. I do think that 290 is actually rather likely this week, and probably that 275 area does get tapped. Could 275 be a bottoming place? Yes. If that area fails, is 250 the next one on the table? Yes. If 250 fails, what happens?
Oh God! Oh God!
and Bitcoin, we got the same thing going on right here.
Oh God! Oh God!
And Krown holds the world record for Lexington steel clips played on YouTube for at least today. Anyways, if we do close this next daily dildo below 10,150, which is the medium-term time frame range, which has still not been broken on the daily, by the way, not only would we be breaking this area right here, hey, get the fuck out of my face, you shitty chart. This area right here, this area right here officially on a daily, not on a 4 hour, obviously already broken on a 4 hour, but weekend. Then we'd also be closing below the bottom side trolling band once again. That would also imply that we are still maintaining a downtrend on the daily and in the process of trending right now. So targets to 9,700, very, 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 very likely in that event. Probably small bounce there, maybe even medium term bounce. If things get back above 10.5, we could definitely talk about potentially reversal, and above 11 or 10.9, an obvious reversal at that point. But for right now, if that bounce does fail, like I said, 9,100 to 9,000-ish region where I'd be looking towards. And if that area fails, well, play Q Lexington steel clip, I suppose. All right, let's see if the MACDs is doing anything here. Okay, histogram's starting to get very, 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 very aggressive here. But we're just crossing the zero line right now, or not just crossing it, but relatively fresh cross below it. And we are maintaining the increasing humps on the MACD histogram. So what is that saying? It says that we are increasing momentum to the downside right now. So it's really not until we see some sort of divergence plays being built off this that we'd expect some sort of a low. And for right now, it's still just not present on price. So that's why I do think overall things will very likely move lower from here. There will be bounces along the way and potential reversal points set out again below 9,000. There's actually like some all jokes aside, legitimate problems there. Probably down another $1,500 to 7,500. That'd be the macro area. But at that point, man, I'm curious to see what that would do for the rest of the market here. Anyways, is there anything else that I want to update? Yeah, I mean, let's go look at probabilities now. Let's go back to Bitcoin, or actually, maybe let's go to a 12-hour. I think the 12-hour range, get it really, 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 really nice and even here. 10-150, we can use that level here. It's gonna have a very, very high probability, fucking obviously, because we're actually already below right now. But we can look at the probability of 10-5 on a daily closure. That would be significant for a move back up towards this region, about 10-9 region, and that could have long-term implications as well. That would make me more immediately bullish for moves, overall back up to new highs on this run. By the same token, anywhere below 9,700, big problems. Well, at least for another leg down, and let's see what the probabilities of these areas are. So we'll keep 10-5 right here. We'll first use 10-150. Obviously, it's going to be really fucking high. Should have like a 50% probability right now. So very likely to happen by end of day's closure. How likely is it by comparison that we close above 10,500 on the daily and revert the medium-term time frame trend? Well, 22% or just under 22%. So actually decently high to be fair. But let's see what that 9,700 area would print as well, because that would have implications with targeting moves down another 700 or so dollars, and that's showing about 14.16%. So unlikely that we break that today, at least in comparison right now. Now, there's one thing that I massively forgot to talk about here, which I did touch on yesterday, and it is the weekly. So one of the things that we've seen in Bitcoin's past is the weekly 21 exponential moving average, represented by this yellow moving average right here, has basically been during your long term uptrends, your kind of dumpy, or sorry, your bullish dumps, and for your downtrends, your bullish or your bearish pumps. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, just you can see this one with your eyes. Doesn't need like too big of an explanation. Yes, slope on this does matter as well, and further confirms that. But over here, you see all these dumps down to it, gets picked up, boom, 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 loses it right here and down all the way. Then 2015 to 2016, same thing, dumps all the way down. And all these dumps are like what, around 20% if you measure them out. Something like this, another 25% right there. This guy right here, another 20% right there. This guy right here, a little bit further, more like 26%. This guy probably a little bit more as well, 37%. But overall, kind of within the same area, right? And let's just see what that would look like, because we are testing the 21 right now, and from top to bottom thus far, we have played out about a 21% move to the downside. So I would also say that on a weekly schedule, as long as we're closing weekly dildos above the 21 exponential moving average, especially, I do really refrain from getting macro bearish. I actually do think that the long-term uptrend the macro uptrend will very likely pull through, but can that also encompass a wick down coming this week below that region? Yes, absolutely. In fact, what would you tell the people over here who were right about their trade? They were completely right about their trade, closing above the 21, but can you survive a wick below that region that literally takes you down another additional 17.5%? Well, risk management. anyways, so I think that's pretty much it for me right now. I apologize for the very unprofessional sounds that I play on my streams. However, there's no such thing as fucking professional in cryptocurrency land. It's the wild, wild west. When I was trading traditional markets, there were such things as professionals. We still fucked around crazy amounts, and we all had badges, so it's fine, I guess. This is what that means. People just want someone in a suit to tell them, rather than I guess the way that people usually are. Anyways, that's another topic for another time, perhaps maybe on another channel. I think right now it's time for me to wish you well once again. Pretty much same areas implied as yesterday. I'm going to be signing off. I'll be back on tomorrow with some more video analysis. Take care, and until next time.